Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from the mobile Campea studio. I'm currently in Bakersfield, California, on my way up to San Francisco area for our movie meetup tomorrow night. Glad you guys can join us here. Back in the studio, though, we've got our technical director, Jonathan Voico.
I'm here, guys.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
I feel you're on the front line of a new kind of media war.
With the new technology.
That's right.
But most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day where we celebrate the stuff that we love, the movies, great TV shows, streaming, and all sorts of good things. And we're glad that you guys are here and being a part of the show. And here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, that's when we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or an issue you'd like us to discuss, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link simply at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And here's the good news about the tip link. It's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to our show on our podcast feed, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching this show a little bit later in the day when we're not live, you can still send in a question. And if you send one in when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. Also, guys, a little bit of housekeeping. I just mentioned that I'm on my way to the San Francisco area because we have the next round of our movie meetups going on, where we already obviously did Denver, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Tomorrow night, Friday, September 19th, we're going to be at the Regal Hacienda IMAX in Dublin, right beside San Francisco, for the 7:15 p.m. screening of Psycho. As of yesterday, there were very few tickets left. There's even less few tickets left today. So if you want to go ahead to the Regal website and buy some tickets for it. Then Sunday, September 21st, just a couple days from now, we're going to be in the Portland area at the Regal Evergreen Parkway for a 6:40 p.m. screening of him. But we'll talk about that. And then on Monday, the next day, September 22nd, we're going to be in the Seattle area at the AMC Kent Station for a 7 p.m. screening. I'm so excited about this, of Howl's Moving Castle. And the way our movie meetups work is I just tell you guys which theater I'm going to be at, which movie, what time. Then you can buy tickets to it as well at the movie theater, just like I am. And then afterwards, I'm just going to hang out in the movie lobby or in front of the movie theater for like an hour, 2 hours, and meet everybody, take some pictures, have some conversations, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys, if you're in the area, you can come and meet us. All right, guys. With that down, let's get things started, shall we? And we're going to get started off with this. Daredevil Born Again Season 3 has now officially been greenlit. You guys may remember that a little bit ago, it was announced, or it wasn't announced, but a story came out because Charlie Cox was speaking at a convention, and he referenced Daredevil Born Again as the last season of Daredevil. Now, we talked on the show about it, and we said, oh, listen, maybe he just misspoke. Maybe it's because the ratings haven't been so good, because remember, it didn't do as good of ratings as things like Agatha All Along and some other shows. So maybe he was let it slip that there's not going to be season 3. Maybe he just misspoke. Well, it looks like maybe he misspoke, because the head of Marvel stuff on Disney Plus is now saying it's been greenlit. Gizmodo wrote the following. We're still waiting for Born Again's sophomore season, but the revived Daredevil continuation has been subject to a bit of behind-the-scenes confusion recently over conflicting comments casting doubt on the show's future. Doubt no more. The Man Without Fear is ready for round 3. Marvel Television head Brand Winterbaum confirmed to IGN in a new interview today that Born Again will be back for a 3rd season. In terms of Daredevil, yeah, we are greenlit for season 3, and we start shooting next year, Winterbaum simply told the outlet. Okay. So clearly when Charlie Cox was saying that Daredevil season 2 and referred to it as the last season, he just simply misspoke. But, I mean, like, legitimately there was some question because the ratings were not as good as maybe some people thought they were going to be. But ratings aside, I really liked Daredevil Born Again. I had a really, really good time with the series. Now, do I think overall it was as sharp and as great as when it was on Netflix? No, not quite. But to me, the terminology I use, guys, is that I found that it was worthy. Daredevil Born Again was worthy of the Daredevil series that we had over on Netflix. And, this could also just be a sign that Marvel just wants to give Daredevil time. Because, we did talk about this, Rob, the fact that Daredevil Born Again is a little bit different because it was going to be more adult focused. It was going to be R-rated. It's been a long time since Daredevil was over on Netflix. Maybe not everybody had seen the Netflix stuff. It has been a few years. So, somebody wrote to me, Rob, today and said, is this a sign that maybe Daredevil did better numbers than we thought? And I'm like, no. But what I think it's a sign is that Marvel believes in the show, and they feel that if they just give it a little bit more time, it will get its audience and find its audience. Now, whether it does or not, Rob, I don't know. I don't think it's a guarantee that it will. But as a fan of this show, as somebody who really did like this new season, I'm kind of glad they're going to give it a little bit more of a runway. So anyway, Rob, you heard about this. What do you think?
Well, I've always thought that Daredevil Born Again was always planned as being like 18 episodes. So they split that into 2 different seasons. And I really think that the latter half of what would be that first season, the back 9 episodes now, I'll bet those are bangers. Like, I'll bet that because the way the show was going, it was in the middle of ramping up to mayhem. And so I would imagine they know how those back 9 work. And they know that a lot of people, because there was a lot of buildup in those first 9 episodes, bringing us back into that world, introducing us to the characters, showing the interpersonal relationships. They spent a lot of time with Wilson Fisk, which I thought was great, and his wife and everything he was doing, and positioning him, and then positioning Daredevil and the conflict that's coming, and the anti-vigilante squad, and bringing in the Defenders or whatever they're going to do. So I think the latter half, I think season 2 is going to blow the roof off the joint. And they already know that, and they probably have seen the edits of most of the episodes being like, okay, this is gonna send the show into overdrive. Look, this is me. John, my default position is to be optimistic. And I really like the show. I really like the cast. Clearly, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio were having a ball making this show because they were delivering stellar work. So it makes sense to me that they would greenlight another season.
You know what the thing to me about the show too was? Like, one of the things that I really loved about the original seasons of Netflix, and I was a little bit worried about it because, remember, originally Daredevil Born Again was not going to be in continuation with the Netflix series. It was going to be a brand new iteration. It was just so happened to be starring Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, but it was going to be a brand new Daredevil. They scrapped that, went back. But a part of that, remember, was they got a different actress to play Vanessa. And one of the reasons that worried me, I mean, that's fine, you can recast, but it was worried me because one of my favorite things about the original Netflix series was that weird relationship between Wilson and Vanessa. And man, in Daredevil Born Again, they deepened it. They made it more complex. They made it like juicy. And
juicy is the right word.
And even had you wondering a little bit. Did you watch House of Cards, Rob? I can't remember if you watched.
I did.
You know what the Wilson and Vanessa relationship reminds me of in Daredevil?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah, the relationship between Kevin Spacey and Princess Buttercup. I forget.
Robin Wright.
Robin Wright. The relationship between them in that kind of reminds me a little bit of the Wilson Fisk and Vanessa.
100%.
And I honestly could watch another, like, without hyperbole, Rob, I could watch another season of Daredevil Born Again, even if Daredevil wasn't in it, and you focused more on the continued rise of Wilson and Vanessa.
100%.
I'm not saying I think that's what they should do. I'm just saying I would be down for that. I would totally watch that. What do you,
absolutely, dude.
I was going to ask you, what was like maybe a highlight for you about this season of Born Again that you hope they're able to build on? Like, for me, it's Wilson and Vanessa. Do you have one?
No, but I would say that was the most. I think they really gave Vincent D'Onofrio more colors to play of Wilson Fisk. Yeah, because I like the fact that he was kind of conflicted because as mayor, you kind of got the idea of, well, I want to be a good mayor, But at the same time, there's a way I can reestablish my criminal empire in a way I never could before. And I really felt that he was kind of the star for me because, Daredevil, Matt Murdock was just he's kind of continuing to do what Matt Murdock has always done. And then watching him, we all knew it was inevitable that he was going to put on the mantle of Daredevil again. But watching Wilson Fisk, I love the scene where remember when they had to fix the hole that was in the freeway, and he had to get out of the car and he walks over. And I'm like, that's awesome because he would never have done that, I don't think. But it being in the position that now that he's mayor, he can use his crime boss persona. And I'm gonna do a public works project now, which I thought was great. And they really had fun with playing into that. And I want to see more of that. The conflict between he wants to be a good mayor, but he really wants to be the criminal mastermind that he always was.
He still wants to have power.
Yeah.
And he was finding he couldn't do mayor the right way and actually have ultimate power. So yeah. I thought that was a dynamic. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It's now official. We're getting Daredevil Born Again Season 3. We already knew Season 2 was coming. Hell, they've already shot Season 2. It's coming out next year. But now we know we're getting Season 3 as well. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? It looks like Netflix is getting into the bidding war for Warner Brothers. Now, you guys remember, we talked about this last week. News dropped like a bomb that Paramount, now under the control of Ellison and, his Skydance company, has put together a bid to actually buy Warner Brothers and buy them outright. Not just half of it, because, Warner Brothers has announced they're going to be splitting into two separate companies, one for broadcast television, one for the movie studio and HBO Max. Well, they want to buy the whole damn thing. Well, now, according to the trade newsletter, Puck, probably the most popular one in the business, they're now saying that they have sources telling them that Netflix is, in fact, preparing a counter bid to also buy Warner Brothers. Now, details on whatever this bid would be were not really provided by Puck. It doesn't really clarify whether it be like Paramount, they're going to try to buy the whole damn thing, or if they're going to just offer to buy, let the company split in half and then just buy the Warner Brothers Studios and HBO Max sort of thing. Didn't really specify. But here's the interesting thing. Once that news came out via Puck, other reports started to surface that Comcast, NBC Universal, may want to be getting into this too. You guys might remember that when Disney bought Fox, they were competing against NBC Universal. As a matter of fact, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Disney was going to buy Fox, and I think the price tag was something around $45 billion. And oh, yeah, great, they're going to buy it. And then Universal came and said, wait a minute, we're going to make a bid. Yeah. And by the end of the day, Disney had to spend almost $30 billion more than what they were planning on spending because they had to outbid Comcast, NBC Universal, which might have been NBC Universal's plan all along to make Disney spend an extra $30 billion. Anyway, so now it sounds like they might be getting into it as well. And Rob, we might be seeing now David Zaslav getting maybe what it exactly was he wanted, which was a bidding war for Warner Brothers and to make his shareholders a buttload of money. Whether that's the case or not, I mean, who knows? But it does bring up something that we touched on when we talked about the Paramount potential takeover of Warner Brothers, which is, all other things being equal, Rob, I don't think you or I want to see anybody buy Warner Brothers. I think, especially with this unprecedented win streak they're on right now, with just smashing the record of having 6 films open in a row to over $40 million. Never happened before. They extended that record to 7 films in a row. And now they might extend the record even more to 8 films in a row once one battle after another comes out. But, so I think in general, we don't want to see Warner Brothers get sold off. But, Rob, if it does get sold off, going to Paramount ain't the worst thing. I mean, it's clearly a company that's very passionate about films. They want to keep the theatrical experience. They want to extend the theatrical window. They have a lot of really good ideas. And Rob, you and I have both been very impressed by some of the early moves they've been making since Skydance took over Paramount. Some really great moves.
Very much so. John,
I like the idea. I got to say this though, Rob. I mentioned this to you before. I really don't want to see Netflix get Warner Brothers. I really don't. Because Netflix is going to bastardize it. Netflix is going to turn it into an all streaming platform. But, you know, maybe I could be optimistic. Maybe Netflix buys into Warner Brothers and goes, okay, Warner Brothers will be our theatrical arm. And maybe that's a way for Netflix to get more into the theatrical. That's the optimistic side of me. The pessimistic side, Rob, is the fear that Netflix is going to get Warner Brothers and then it's all just going to be streaming and crapify everything. So I'm really like, I would rather NBC Universal get it. I would rather, Rob, see Disney get Warner Brothers than see Netflix, unless Steve Sarandos came out and said, okay, we're going to put in a bid for Warner Brothers. Ted Sarandos, sorry. We're putting in a bid for Warner Brothers. Our plan is to get it and make that our theatrical arm. If they say that, which I doubt, but if they did, I'd be a little bit more open to the idea of Netflix getting them. Anyway, Rob, you heard about this. It sounds now like Netflix is going to get into the bids. Then maybe Comcast Universal is going to get into the bids. There might be other players. I don't know who can afford it. But anyway, what's your takeaway from all this?
Well, I mean, I expected both Netflix and Comcast to jump in into this because in a way, they're kind of obligated. But here's my fear, like you just stated. I don't think they're interested. They look at theatrical as a 20th century phenomenon, and it doesn't, in their minds, doesn't really benefit them because they would have to. A theatrical releasing of motion pictures is a whole different end of the business that they've never been enthusiastic for. But I think if Netflix were to buy Warner Brothers, it could kill theatrical completely. Because if Warner Brothers pulled out of releasing movies theatrically, how do the other studios, I mean, what do you have left? Paramount and Amazon have committed to theatrical, but maybe, you know, Disney still makes a ton of money, but and then you've got Lionsgate and A24 and a lot of other small, but can three major studios and maybe 20th Century Fox or 20th Century Studios will throw in, but how do you support a theatrical industry that needs movies 24/7, 365 days a year? How do you do that? And if you lose a major, I mean, Warner Brothers would be a huge blow to theatrical. And I don't want to see that happen. And the thing about Netflix is, you know, John, it's like even when they were making movies for the drive-in in, say, the 60s and 70s, there is a philosophy behind filmmaking that happens when you know your movie is going to be projected on a giant screen.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, when you know that you're going to be theatrical or you know you're going to be in the drive-in, the way movies are shot, the way movies are lit, everything about the philosophy behind making films changes. Part of the reason that a lot of Netflix movies are the way they are is because it's known, especially in post-production, that these are just going to stream. So even the way movies are lit it's done differently. And philosophically, if we're just going to get a bunch of, I mean, I understand they want the whole Warner library, but I mean, I don't want to see DC Universe movies made for streaming only. I want the philosophy, HBO's TV series look different than anyone else's because of their philosophy of how they're made, how they're lit, how many nits that they're going to be when you have. That's why sometimes when you watch like The Long Night, people are like, I can't see it, it's too dark. Well, things are changing, and I don't think Netflix would be good for the business if they bought Warner Brothers at all.
Can you imagine if Sinners had gone straight to streaming?
No.
Can you imagine how terrible? Can you imagine if Weapons had gone straight to streaming? And, you know, I'm glad you brought up like Amazon and stuff like that, because Amazon you and I were both really impressed with Amazon's presentation at CinemaCon. I mean, they have a rich, robust theatrical lineup coming out. They are clearly committed to theatrical. Apple is becoming more and more committed to theatrical. I would even be okay with Amazon or Apple getting it. It literally the only player in this game. And I'm a Netflix fan. Don't get me wrong. I am. I love watching the shows on Netflix. I do, but they are absolutely dead last as far as who I would want to see eventually pick up Warner Brothers, if anybody picks them up. So anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? There are reports out there right now coming from fairly reliable sources that Netflix and probably Comcast are also going to be getting in and making bids for Warner Brothers to compete against Paramount for it. Who do you want to see come out of it? Do you think they ultimately will get sold? Whatever you guys make of this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of the movies opening up this weekend is Him. And as of yesterday, less than 24 hours, I remember I checked, less than 24 hours before the public screening started, the review embargo had still not been lifted. And I was like, in my best Dave Chappelle, oh no. Not a good sign at all. And now we know why it wasn't a good sign. Because the critic ratings have now come out and they're not good, Rob. They're not good.
What a surprise.
As of right now, the rating for Him is 32%. Which again, there are worse. That means like 1 out of almost every 3 critics kind of liked it, but 2 out of every 3 didn't. Let's go over and take a look at some of the reviews that Him has been getting, shall we? Dexero writes.
So not strong.
Him combines genre in a unique way, but mixing sports movie with humor. But in telling a tale of football's dark side, those opposing forces frequently make uneasy bedfellows. Zach Pope Reviews writes, Him had the potential to be the horror goat of 2025 with the trippy, on-the-nose visuals and powerhouse performances from Wayans and Wither, but uneven themes and a rushed finale hold it back from being nothing more than a disappointing Twilight Zone tale.
Oh.
The Philadelphia Tribune says, Him is a riveting movie. They liked it, even if it doesn't always hit the mark. Okay, I mean, they didn't love it, but they liked it. Nerdist liked it. They said Justin Tipping's Him tackles our religious allegiance to football, unsettling hero worship, sacrifice, and identity crisis in a surrealist thriller and warning siren wrapped in one strange package. Metro liked it. They said it might not be the tightest film of the year, but it's certainly one of the most daring and memorable. Its haunting visuals and psychological depth make it a bold addition to the genre, one that pushes the boundaries of what sports movies can be. Substream magazine didn't like it. They said Him finds itself trapped in the Peelification of cinema, invoking elements of his visual style and satirical views on society without understanding why they were effective in the first place. Loire Nartour writes, outside of the brilliance of Marlon Wayans, Him is so garish and loud that it feels like an exercise on how to shock and awe filmmaking the audience can endure. And it goes on. One of the top critics, Film Maven, says, Him is barely a movie. It's an extended video game sequence with a satanic vibe to it. Wayans is good, but he's not worth making a point to see in the movie. Eesh. Anyway, so Rob, coming out of CinemaCon, there were 2 big presentations that I really didn't enjoy. One of them was Him. Remember, we talked about it afterwards. I'm like, I don't know what they're going with Him, but this doesn't look good. And now we're seeing the results. The other one, oddly enough, was the Colin Farrell, Margot Robbie one. What's it called? A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey?
Yes.
Right.
And I said, I don't know what they were going for. This doesn't feel good. Well, that is also, its review embargo was lifted as well. It's got better than Him, but not by much.
Yeah.
It's got like a 42 or a 43% as well. I'll tell you what, compound that with the fact that I thought the trailers for Him have been absolutely garbage. Like all it tells is like, look how psychedelic this movie's going to be. And I just never thought the trailers were good. Listen, we're doing a movie meetup for Him. I might have picked the wrong movie, but we are doing a movie meetup for Him. And I got to say, the marketing for this was so bad. If I wasn't doing a movie meetup from it, I don't think I would be seeing it at all. But I am going to go to see it in a couple of nights. Anyway, Rob, you're hearing the reviews now for him. They don't look great. What's been your expectation for the film, and what's your takeaway from the reviews we're reading?
Well, I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. I mean, while I agreed with you, I didn't know what the trailers, I didn't know what to make of the movie, but I was hoping for some demonic Machiavellian, the coach from hell, and he really was tempting a player with, it's the last temptation of Christ idea, and will the players, I was thinking about it would be something else. I think the problem that I have with these kinds of movies is they're dealing with very literary devices, literary conceits in terms of what's going on, and they're trying to cover up, at least, and I say this without having seen the film, but just with the reviews that you've read, the imagery is supposed to smooth over what the movie lacks in terms of its script writing. And, I can't help but think back to go, what, there's a great, it's got an A-list sheen, but it's really a B movie. And that is The Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Now, that movie, it's a B movie. It's a B movie with an A-list cast, an A-list sheen, and Taylor Hackford's directing is terrific.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah. You're going to appreciate this imagery. So continue speaking, but I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, and it's just, you have to know that. And when you're delving into horror tropes, or you're delving into psychedelia, or you're delving in whatever,
the comparison is great.
Oh, wow. Well, see, because clearly they were going for something. That's funny. I didn't even know that when I made that comparison. But when you're doing that, you need to have the fundamental literary understanding of the kind of story that you're telling. And we see that a lot now in especially genre fiction, in horror and science fiction, where the creators, the writers, don't have, like, one of the comments was this movie didn't understand the satire that Jordan Peele's movies would get into. Like, it's trying to play those tropes.
Yeah.
But you need to that's a writing issue. And so often nowadays we see people that have only watched TV or only watched movies, but to be a great writer, even a screenwriter, you have to have a literary understanding of the genre and the tropes that you're playing with. And after seeing, I didn't get a sense of that when we saw the trailers for this movie, and now to have that bared out is kind of a bummer for me. But I got to tell you, John, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to go see it. I want to see what it's like, because it looks like there's got some interesting stuff in it, and maybe there's something that'll appeal to me. I don't know.
By the way, I'm still surprised because they're trying to do, I think the marketing is intentionally maybe a little deceptive.
I mean, look at this picture.
So many
crucifixion. Oh, yeah. This is the crucifixion. The footballs are the nails. And it's like, if you're going to play with these kinds of tropes with heaven behind you or whatever, or God, you better know what you're doing as a writer and as a director.
Because by the way, look at this image. Look at this image Jonathan has up, right? What's the name on the image? On that promo image, what name do you see on there?
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, they have gone out of their way to convince the audience, or to make it appear to the audience, or to give the impression to the audience that this is a Jordan Peele movie. It's not. And I still talk to people all the time who think that Jordan Peele directed this film. He didn't. This is not but that's the only name they put all over. And I understand why, because Jordan Peele's a big name, but there are still a lot of people out there who think Jordan Peele directed this film, and he did not. And it's just crazy how many people still don't realize that he didn't direct it. But anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Now, listen, it's not like everybody is hating him. About 30% of the critics like it. Maybe that means I'll like. I mean, maybe I'll love the film. I'm not sure. Maybe you will too. Are you surprised by the reactions? Are you not surprised by them? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to play a little round of overreaction. Overreaction is simple. We jump into our community post tab on the YouTube channel, and we ask you guys, our subscribers on the YouTube channel, if you have a bold statement you want to make about a movie, an actor, whatever, and Rob and I will tell you if we think you are overreacting or not. So Jonathan's got a bunch of them picked out in front of him. Jonathan, what do we got up?
Rob, we'll start with you today. Is this here an overreaction? You let us know. When Barry Allen says, one battle after another will be the best movie of the decade.
Well, people are saying that already. Critics that I admire are saying that already. I don't necessarily think it's an overreaction because it is Paul Thomas Anderson. It is Leonardo DiCaprio. It is Benicio del Toro. And it was loosely based on a Thomas Pynchon story book, Vineland. So the pedigree is certainly best of the decade. And it's a possibility because Paul Thomas Anderson is one of our greatest filmmakers. So I don't think it's an overreaction. I don't.
All right. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to say that this is an overreaction. Listen, let's see if it actually ends up being the best film of the year. I mean, so there's still some questions about that. Remember, there's a lot of films still yet to come out this year. They're going to be in Oscar contention. So I think at this point, it's way too much. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been hearing the same amazing things about this movie that everybody else has. I think right now it's got like a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is outstanding. But to say it's going to be the best of the decade, right? If you were to say the best of the year, I'd say, okay, well, I don't know if it will be or not, but that's not an overreaction. But for the decade, I'm going to for now say right now that's an overreaction. All right, what's next?
All right. John, passing on to you here. Is this an overreaction when Wolfmott says Avatar, Fire, and Ash, sorry, Rob, will be the lowest performing series or in the series yet?
I don't think that's an overreaction. Now, it is possible that it could not be, but Jonathan, maybe look up for me. What was the box office total of Avatar, The Way of Water?
A lot.
Because what you're really saying is, yeah, it was a lot, right? So what you're really saying is that this movie, Fire and Ash, may not make as much money as Avatar, The Way of Water.
So 2.3.
And when you... No, what?
2.3
Way
billion.
of Water? I thought the first... Wait, really? 2.3 billion was the second one?
2.9
I thought it was
was
1 point something.
The 2.9
was the first one.
And then 2.3
Wow.
was the second.
Okay, so 2.3 billion. All right, I thought it was like 1.9, 1.8. Oh my God. It's in the $2 billion club.
Spider-Man
Guys,
was 1.9.
It's in the... That's what I was thinking of. It's in the $2 billion club. Is it being negative or cynical to say, well, I don't know if this movie will make $2 billion. I mean, this movie's going to be a massive smash hit, right? It's going to be a massive smash hit. But to say, hey, guys, it's very believable that this movie may not make $2.3 billion. So, yeah, I don't think it's an overreaction to say that it'll be the least making, that it'll make less than 2.3 billion. I do think it'll make less than 2.3 billion. It'll be one of the biggest films of all time, but not be 2.3 billion. So I'm going to say that is not an overreaction. Rob?
I agree with you. It's not an overreaction. That said, your God has no dominion here. Mordor, Na'vi, come on, man. This movie's going to be the biggest Avatar film yet. It's going to be the Return of the King of Avatar movies. We got Sam and Frodo going to Mordor. They're going to throw that ring in the crack of doom. They're just going to be blue instead of hobbits.
So you're calling 3 billion?
No, I don't know. I think it's not an overreact. Look, I don't know. Are people going to be avatared out? I think there's always a possibility it could wind up being the Rise of Skywalker, the franchise. But I just think the visuals deliver. We have a whole new set of Na'vi that are mad. They're weird and pissed off, whatever they are. I can't wait. I'm very excited. I'm already team anti-Iowa. I can't wait to see what these godless heathens have. Anti-Iowa, the godless heathen Na'vi. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't see what, I mean, the humans are going to come back to get their pound of flesh. I want to see some biblical allegory. I want to see some fighting. I want to see fighting in the air. I want to see people getting blown up and melted in lava flows. I mean, I can't wait for this movie. I'm so excited for this movie. I can't even tell you how excited. I'm more excited for this Avatar movie than the other two combined.
Rob, they're supposed to give us the overreactions, not you.
Yeah, I am. Listen, I'm super excited about it too. I just don't know if it's going to make $2 billion.
No.
But Rob, I hate to break it to you. I'm going to tell you how this movie's going to end. It's going to end with the Fire and Ash Na'vi being embraced by the love of Iowa, and they're going to unite. I think all these Avatar films are going to be about all the Na'vi across the world, all these various tribes uniting, and they are going to be touched by the love of Iowa, and they're going to come in to be part of the fold by the end of the film.
Why you got to harsh my mellow? Why you got to harsh my mellow?
I might be wrong.
John?
I might be wrong.
Why you got to take away my dreams? Why?
Oh, it'll happen. You're right. $3 billion.
You're a destroyer of dreams, John.
No, $3 billion.
I want evil Na'vi. They need some. The Na'vi are all too touchy feely, crunchy,
evil,
chewy
does that mean
granola.
They team up with the humans, or they're just nobody's out.
Yeah, I think the anti-Iowa people are going to team up with the humans to go up against Jake Sully and his family.
I think we're talking about a Batman versus Superman situation here. I think that's going to be the impetus that kind of gets the two Na'vi sides to work together against the humans. Because remember, they're the invaders. But anyway, so
it's going to end on a cliffhanger. They're going to take the war to Earth.
What is next?
What is next? Let's see. John, is this an overreaction? When Taylor says Paul Dano as Brian Wilson was the biggest Oscar acting snub of the 2010s.
Correct. Help me out here. I thought Dano got nominated for that.
I'm looking.
Am I wrong? I thought he got a nomination for it. But listen, whether he did get a nomination, because Dano is remarkable. He's absolutely fabulous. I love this guy. This guy has been an underrated actor for so long, which is why I was so thrilled that he got the big bad guy part in the Batman and he killed it as Riddler. But guys, nobody can claim the biggest Oscar snub in acting in the last 10 years, because there was a little movie called Hereditary with a little actress by the name of Toni Collette, and she didn't get nominated. I think the word snub is way too overused. It's way too loosely and too easily used. Snub is a word that should be only used in the most extreme of situations. But I remember that year when Hereditary was out.
Doesn't look like he was nominated.
Okay, so he didn't get. Well, he should have been nominated, right?
I can tell you, it was Michael Keaton, Benedict Cumberbatch for Imitation Game, Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, Eddie Redmayne, Theory of Everything, Bradley Cooper, American Sniper.
Okay, now I don't know if
Keaton was Birdman.
But I remember before the nominations came out that year, I remember saying she's my pick to win. That Collette was my pick to win for Hereditary. I thought she should win the Academy Award. It was a foregone conclusion that she was going to be nominated, and she didn't get nominated. And to me, that is easily the one and only big snub. So I'm going to say, while Dano was great, and I think he deserved a nomination, although look at the lineup he was against.
Oh yeah,
This lady is the one who got snubbed. This lady should have won, and she didn't even get nominated. So I'm going to say your statement, because of her, is an overreaction. Rob, what about you?
I think you're probably right, because, it would be a snub. Paul Dano is an incredible actor. No doubt.
He's amazing.
Amazing. When I saw There Will Be Blood, I was blown away by his performance.
Yeah. His only mistake was going up against the greatest actor.
Yeah.
But that's why I would say a snub is if somebody who clearly didn't deserve to win won. But we have seen so many great performances. I couldn't swap out any of the performances Jonathan just listed and say that they were undeserving and Paul Dano should have been slid in their place. The problem maybe is that we've got so many great performances to choose from. And while I would say it's too bad that Paul Dano did not win an Oscar, I don't think he's been snubbed, because snubbing to me assumes that somebody undeserving or maybe, I just think it's because there's a lot of great performances. His day will come.
Yeah,
his day will come.
It will come.
I want that movie poster, though. The more I look at it, man, that's a great poster.
That's beautiful.
That's a great poster. Yeah.
All right.
What's next?
Next up, we're gonna let's see, Rob. So we're going back to you, John. Is this an overreaction when we hear from Malte, the Batman 2 will be the best Batman movie of all time?
I don't even know. That's an overreaction. That's an overreaction. Listen, it can be great. It can be awesome. But you're talking about an IP that has The Dark Knight, that a lot of people consider to be the greatest comic book film of all time. I have it in my top 3, but a lot of people have it as their absolute number 1. I think the Batman can be amazing. I think the Batman Part 2 can be a triumph. I think it can be all those things. But to say it's going to come out and instant, because basically what you're saying is the Batman 2 is going to be the greatest comic book film ever made. Because if you're going to eclipse The Dark Knight, that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
And so I just got to say, look, will it be amazing? Absolutely, I believe it. Will it be maybe even one of the best films of the year? Yes. Could it maybe even be, in a world where we have 10 nominees for Best Picture, could it even be a Best Picture contender? I don't see why not. But to say it's going to be better than The Dark Knight, that's something I'm going to have to say that's an overreaction. Rob, what about you?
I think it's an overreaction too. I mean, everyone knows that the 66th Batman feature-length version that had Joker, Riddler, Catwoman, and Penguin is the greatest Batman movie ever made.
Do you remember the marketing on that? After The Dark Knight came out, they tried remarketing that movie, and it had like a dark, bold Batman symbol on it.
Pretty
and
funny.
It's like nothing.
That's the one where they turned everybody into powder, right? And that's the movie with the infamous bat shark repellent.
Yep. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. And if you're not trying to aspire to those heights, what are you aspiring to? But look, I am very excited to see what Matt Reeves does with the Batman 2, but I think it's definitely hyperbolic to say it's going to be the best Batman movie ever released. It's going to be the best Batman movie coming out that year, probably.
Yeah, that year. All right, what's next?
All right. Back to you, Rob. When is this an overreaction when we hear from Jim Riley? Chris Evans has no star power outside of MCU, just like I was.
Okay, you didn't say anything about box office. You just said star power, and I think that's an overreaction because when we've seen him play in ensembles such as in the first Knives Out, he's terrific. And I think that Chris Evans is a movie star. I think he can hold the frame. Now, if you were saying box office, that might be something different. But as an actor who can appear on camera, look, I really liked him in, what was the Ana de Armas movie? The she's the hit woman and or whatever.
Ghosted.
Ghosted.
Yeah.
I liked him in that. I thought he was really charming. And I liked seeing him in The Gray Man. The problem is he's just never had a vehicle that really is good. And I have to say, I thought he was good in The Materialists.
Which, again, you're right, the vehicle.
And The Materialists made over $100 million globally for A24.
Not bad.
So it's not bad.
Yeah,
didn't cost much.
I'm gonna say it's an overreaction because, look, the reality is, who is? I mean, if to you the definition of that is all the movies you make big money, there's nobody that does that anymore.
Right.
Like there really isn't. Even you remember Robert Downey Jr. at the absolute peak and pinnacle of his popularity. He made The Judge, and nobody went to go see that.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody. They just wanted to see him as Iron Man at the time. Now, fortunately, along came Christopher Nolan and gave him a supporting role in Oppenheimer that ended up getting him an Oscar, and that's great. But I mean, people just kind of wanted to see Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Chris Evans, I mean, first of all, to Rob's point, even when he's been in bad movies like Ghosted or bad movies like Red One or whatever, he brings a charm to it. Like he elevates even terrible films.
Yeah.
I mean, no one actor can take a bad movie and make it a good movie. He can't do that. But then you see him in Knives Out, which he was absolutely brilliant in. And then you give him like the biggest pop, or at least the top 3 biggest pop in Deadpool and Wolverine is when Chris Evans shows up. So I think by scale, I think he's as big as just about anybody out there. I mean, obviously there are a few guys who are bigger, but he's absolutely a big marketable movie star for sure. But does it mean if you put him in a movie, you're guaranteed to make at least 400 million? No, but I would argue there's probably maybe 1 or 2 people in the entire business that can do that right now. All right. What's next?
Okay, our final overreaction, John, and back to you. Is this an overreaction when we hear from Austin after the trailer? Anaconda will be the funniest movie of the year.
Ooh, that's a good question, because now I got to think about what were the comedies this year. I'm
Smurfs.
terrible with
It ain't beating that.
Critic
That was
Smurf. Movie Critic Smurf gives it an
Laugh out
F.
loud.
Listen, we talked about this yesterday. Oh, by the way, somebody in the live chat, Andrew Forbes in the live chat. Naked Gun exists.
Yeah.
Naked Gun was pretty damn funny.
And I think it'll be funnier than The Roses. The Roses was funnier, but in a tragic way. This is not
Yeah,
going to be that kind of comedy.
I loved The Roses. I did. I loved that movie. I thought that movie was severely underrated. I thought that movie should have made a lot more money than it did, because it's a great movie. But listen, Anaconda was a movie I totally put out of my head because I thought it sounded stupid. And then that trailer came out yesterday.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, even over the last 24 hours, Rob, I've legitimately become excited to see this movie.
I have too.
I think it is possible. You know what? Listen, as much as I loved, what was the Police Squad movie called again? We were just talking about
Naked
it.
Gun.
Naked Gun. As much as I love Naked Gun, it ran out of gas in the third act. Right? It still overall is a very funny film, and I had a very good time watching it. But even that movie, the third act, it kind of ran out of gas. This movie looks like it could be the funniest film of the year. Now, it might also be a complete, utter disaster, maybe. So I'm going to say it's not an overreaction. Anyway, Rob, what do you think?
I don't think it's an overreaction either, because I'm like, who cares about an Anaconda? I didn't even care when the first Anaconda came out. I'm like, whatever, who cares? I'll go see it. And then they made sequels that I could care less about, but I saw those too. But this, if for no other reason than I was totally unexpecting that this is the direction that they went in. And this idea of whether it is a version of Tropic Thunder or however meta it gets, it made me laugh and it made me want to see the movie. And so I'm going to say it could very well be with Paul Rudd and look, I Love You, Man, with Paul Rudd in it, Paul Rudd playing the straight man to Jason Segel's wild man. I mean, I think Jack Black and Paul Rudd could deliver the goods. I think this could be a very funny movie. Again, my hopes are up. I always like to, especially with comedies like this. So I'm hoping for it, and I think it could very well be the funniest comedy of the year.
All right, guys. And that will wrap up today's session of Overreaction. Thank you to everybody who sent in their scenarios for us. Keep your guys' eyes open on our YouTube channel and our community and post tab for when we put out a call for submissions. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Star Wars Starfighter. It's not just a theory. It's actually happening. They're shooting it, not like the 45 other Star Wars projects that have been announced in the past 7 years that never came to fruition. Starfighter is indeed coming. Now, you guys will remember a few weeks ago, they put out a kind of behind the scenes black and white photo of Ryan Gosling and I think the kid in it. Well, now, coming to us from Screen Rant, they've actually put out a production photo from Starfighter, and it actually looks pretty fun. I mean, they're out on the high seas. They're on Waterworld. Yeah. Maybe it's One Piece. Maybe the Straw Hat Gang, whatever Laufey's gang is called in One Piece, will show up. But he looks like a great rogue. He looks like a Star Wars scoundrel in this a little bit. You got the kid there. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't give any context for it. It's a great picture. Again, listen, for me, the exciting thing is that we've got a movie being made. We got a movie being made, and it's actually happening. We have a great director, has a great writer. It has a multiple Academy Award nominated cast in it. Like, you got Amy Adams, 6-time Academy Award nominated actress. You got Ryan Gosling, I believe a 3-time Academy Award nominated actress or actor. I mean, you got Aaron Pierre in this thing. You got Matt Smith in this thing. From great producers, great writer, great director, great cast. And it's actually happening and coming to fruition at this point. The picture looks good. I mean, obviously we have no context for it right now, so that leaves a little bit of a question mark on it. I mean, literally, this could be the only scene in the movie that has any water whatsoever. So this is the one Star Wars project that I am allowing myself to be excited about, because I have no faith in this Rey project. I love John Favreau, but again, Mandalorian feels to me like it's just going to be a glorified 2 episodes of a TV show, and Mandalorian season 3 wasn't all that good. This is the one thing, again, from everything from their producers, the writer, the director, cast, everything looks solid to me. And knowing with Ryan Gosling, who literally has his pick of anything he wants to do in Hollywood. Ryan Gosling doesn't have to audition for anything right now. He can just take whatever project he wants. That's a little bit of hyperbole, but the point stands. He can be in anything he wants. And he saw this and he chose this. The one thing about this to me, though, Rob, that is kind of head scratching is, why are you putting these images out now? What's the point of putting these out now? The movie is still forever away. Like, it's a long ways off. And I just don't see. Now, I get the argument of, hey, people have been complaining. People like John Campea have been complaining that we've had no Star Wars films in like 6 or 7 years. And, just remind, okay, we are in business. We're doing it. I get that, but you already did that. Like, we know Mandalorian's being shot, or it's wrap production now, I think. We already know that this movie's coming. You put out the behind the scenes photo before. I'm just not sure if it's a good idea to start putting out images and footage and all that kind of stuff so far in advance. Anyway, Rob, that's kind of a side note. You saw the picture. What's your takeaway from it?
I just heard Ryan Gosling's voice saying, "Y'all know me. Know what I do for a living. I'll fly this bird for you, but it's not going to be easy. It's a bad ship." But that's what I got from this. I know, but I'm like, this is a very un-Star Wars photo. I mean, it's interesting that they're on the water, but I'm seeing 2 guys. But the fact that people's first they thought Waterworld, I think that's not a good thing. I mean, I'm sure Sean Levy probably took this picture. Was just, hey guys, just hold there, and I'll take this picture and we can put it up. It doesn't strike me as being like a studio. I'm sure Sean Levy decided to do this himself, because this photograph does not make me interested in Star Wars. It also doesn't make me interested in this particular movie. I think it's cool that it's a cool picture of Ryan Gosling and this kid, but it doesn't generate any, I don't know, there's no fire in my belly when I look at it. I don't go, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It doesn't need to. The movie doesn't, what is it, 2027? Is that when it comes out? Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong. But
I'll look that up.
It's literally a couple of years away. They shouldn't be trying to generate any excitement right now. They should leave that until it would actually count for something.
Yeah, it says here it's definitely coming out before Blade. So
May 2027.
Yeah.
It's definitely coming out before Blade. Anyway, I like the picture. I am excited for this film. I honestly, at this point, there's so much going for this movie that I honestly think you have to intentionally be trying to be negative about it, because what are you going to argue about? Well, the writing, they actually went and got a really good writer. Well, the directing, they actually went out and got somebody who's on, like, Sean Levy's win streak right now is crazy. Well, I don't like it's like 12 Academy Award nominations between everybody in the movie. I mean, seriously, what is there to point to right now to be negative about this film? I just don't know why they're putting these pictures out right now. But anyway, we'll see. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Star Wars has put out another picture from the production of Star Wars Starfighter with Ryan Gosling. I like it. It's a great reminder that the movie's coming, but this movie's still 2 years away, so I don't know what they're doing it for. But anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, guys, crack out your Jan Hammer soundtracks.
Oh, dude.
Because Miami Vice is a coming. Joseph Kosinski, the guy who just did F1 and did Top Gun Maverick, is officially doing a Miami Vice movie, and it's got a release date. It's August of 2027. It is coming, and the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter said the following. Director Joseph Kosinski's Miami Vice movie is a go. The Universal Pictures event pick will hit theaters on August 6, 2027. The studio announced Wednesday, casting is currently underway with shooting set to begin next year. I already guarantee you they wouldn't have greenlit this movie if they didn't already have their, why am I freezing? Crockett and Tubbs. If they didn't already have their Crockett and Tubbs attached that they love, they wouldn't have greenlit this thing. I guarantee you they already have their Crockett.
You know who it is?
Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan and Glenn Powell.
I'd be down for that.
Right?
I could be down for that.
Did you see who's writing the script?
No, I didn't.
Dan Gilroy.
No.
Yes,
sir. Who just won the Emmy? Who just
Yeah.
won the Emmy for Andor?
Yes, sir.
It's going to be Narcos and Andor all together.
Bruh. Come on.
Oh, I did not know Dan Gilroy was writing the script.
He's writing with somebody else, but it's Dan Gilroy.
Yeah, my God.
And by the way, I don't know if Glenn Powell's in this movie. I'm just saying it's Michael B. Jordan.
Nor do we know if Michael B. Jordan's in it.
He's got to be Tubbs. He's got to be Tubbs.
But that would be great casting either way.
You know who else would be a great Tubbs?
Who?
John Washington. I think John Washington would be a really
good too.
Tubbs. I'm not saying he's a better actor than Michael B. Jordan, but I think
you know
he would
what?
be a really great fit.
He would be great, but he's like more. He's like, I think Michael B. Jordan is the perfect Tubbs. Coming from New York, coming down. If they play the first season out, he comes down from New York to Miami. I got to tell you, man, I can't wait for this movie. I love Michael Mann's Miami Vice with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. A lot of people don't like it. I love that movie. This movie's going to be better.
I didn't love it, but I think it's an underrated film.
I can't wait. This is set in the 80s?
I don't know when it's set.
But I don't know if it's set in the. I'll be honest with you. I
thought it did say that. Or maybe it was just talking about Miami Vice.
Because when Miami Vice came out, it was a contemporary show.
Right.
So I think if you're going to do Miami Vice now, it should still be a contemporary show. I'm going to throw one at you. Bring back Edward James Olmos.
Of course. As Castillo?
As the captain. You're a Crockett, Tubbs.
Why not?
In my office.
And also, I just read that cocaine is now big again in America, so you can concentrate on. No, in all seriousness, I read this in the paper yesterday. In the paper, I read a headline.
Cocaine is big again, everybody.
It's big again in America. That means the narco trafficking, and we're blowing up boats from Venezuela. I mean, it is ripe to make a current Miami Vice movie. I can't wait. Bring this on. I will buy a ticket right now, like Odyssey.
Well, I mean, listen. Aside from who's going to play Crockett and Tubbs, again, this is going back to the Star Wars Starfighter thing, right? Look at the writer. Look at the director. I mean, I was not the biggest Joseph Kosinski fan prior to Top Gun Maverick. But when you look at his last two films, Top Gun Maverick and F1, which I think F1 was better than it had any business being. I thought F1 was a really good time at the movies. I mean, I thought it was a little bit long, could have been tightened up a bit, whatever. But that was a really fun movie. If he can bring that sensibility into Miami Vice, and listen, cop shows and movies never go out of style, right? So you can do those all day, every day. The one request, even though I think this should be a modern film, my one request is that somehow, some way, Mr. Kosinski, I know you watch this show. He doesn't watch this show. But Kosinski, if you're watching this, please find somewhere in the movie that you have Phil Collins's In the Air Tonight.
Why not?
Oh, they will.
That's gotta be, even though I want it to be a modern day movie, at some point you gotta put that song in there for it. So, so Rob, look, obviously I knew you would be excited for this film. I mean, you've been wanting another Miami Vice for a long time. What are some other names that we could throw out there? For maybe because we've said, Glenn Powell. I've heard some people say Timothy Chalamet. I think Timothy Chalamet is like the best actor of his generation. I don't know if he's a good fit for Crockett, though.
No.
Who might be some other names that you could see for Crockett?
Oh, it's hard because I've been thinking about this, and I don't, when someone said Glenn Plummer, I'm like, or Glenn Plummer, that's a different actor. Get Glenn Powell.
Plummer.
Glenn Plummer would have been a great Crockett back in the day. Glenn Powell was the first person I thought of. I don't really know who could be Crockett. I don't know.
I want to throw two names at you. Okay, two names. One's going to surprise you, but I think if you really think about it for a little while, because it might sink in. Okay, the first name will not shock you. Austin Butler. Butler as Crockett.
Yeah.
Opposite either Michael B. Jordan or Jonathan Washington or Aaron Pierre or whoever. The other name I'm going to throw out, again, I think at first everybody's going to think, nah, but I think if you think about it, we've already talked about him today. Chris Evans. I could totally see Chris Evans bring his darker side, like that less, like bring out a little bit of the guy he played in Gray Man.
Right.
I think that would be pretty good too. Out of all the names mentioned so far, I think I like Glenn Powell the most for it. But I don't know. Do you got any other names that you could see maybe playing a Crockett?
I don't. I'm just so excited that Hans Zimmer might do the Miami Vice theme.
Oh my God.
Because he scored F1 and that score was so good.
But is Jan Hammer still alive? That's what I want to know.
I think he is.
Jan Hammer.
But they've got
him and Hans Zimmer work together.
They've got to update it. I mean, you can think about because if you think about one of the things that Joe Kosinski does is bring the music because Daft Punk in Tron Legacy and in Oblivion, the music that was in Oblivion was incredible. He knows his stuff. So the music, because they did a remake of In the Air Tonight. It wasn't the Phil Collins version, but a remake of that for Michael Mann's Miami Vice. But this is the kind of movie. I mean, if you're going to resurrect a franchise, I'm in.
Okay, here's the big cast. Crockett, Paul Walter Hauser, Tubbs. Oh, I love this guy, and I just freeze on his name. The guy from The Office, the guy who is the warehouse guy in The Office. Yeah. And he's in Hot Tub Time Machine. Why am I freezing on? Guys in the live chat, help me out there. And he's in Hot Tub Time Machine. Mm. He's brilliant. I love him. I think he's absolutely hilarious. And Craig Robinson. That's it.
Yeah.
Paul Walter Hauser, Craig Robinson as Crockett and Tubbs. Well, you're welcome.
Paul Walter could be cast. I could see him like as an informant.
As a CI? Yeah, I could totally see him as a CI. Why not do that? All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? It's now official. There is a new Miami Vice movie coming. It's got the guy who just won the Emmy for Best Writing in Gilroy. You've got the guy who just directed Top Gun Maverick and F1. Who could the cast be? I totally believe they already have their Crockett and Tubbs. Are you excited about this? Did you ever watch any of the Miami Vice iterations? Who could you see playing as Crockett and Tubbs? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.
You know what? This is a bit of transition here, but as we're transitioning, I'm looking at our graphics and I'm like, he could be Crockett. We'll talk about him next. Go ahead.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah. All right, guys. Next up, let's talk about this, shall we? The Batman 2 is coming, and now we've got not an idea about who the villain's going to be, but we've narrowed down the field quite a bit for who the villain might be. Because the director of the upcoming Batman 2, Matt Reeves, is saying that the villain in the film is going to be one that hasn't been used on a movie before. So that right away eliminates Joker. It eliminates Penguin. It eliminates Bane. It eliminates Catwoman. It eliminates Riddler. It eliminates Two-Face. Who are some of the other guys?
Poison Ivy.
It eliminates Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about it eliminates Mr. Freeze.
Yep.
I was really hoping they get Arnold back, but can't always get what we want. It eliminates Scarecrow.
Ra's al Ghul.
It eliminates Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
That's a great way
and
up.
Talia.
Talia al Ghul, it excludes her. So that leaves some significant names. So I thought, first of all, it was fascinating that Matt Reeves is already telling us this, that it's a villain that we're using, hasn't really been used in a movie before. Okay. That leaves us who I think might be the most leading contenders here. One, Hush. Hush is one that I think could and not only do I think he would that be a really interesting way to go, it's something that Matt Reeves would do, right? Second, Court of Owls. We've seen Court of Owls used on television, both in like Gotham and in Harley Quinn animated series.
Yeah.
We've seen Court of Owls used before. So that's absolutely one that I could totally see Matt Reeves doing. It's not just one that I'd like to see. It's one that I think would totally be in Matt Reeves's wheelhouse. And somebody in the live chat just said the one I was going to say. Kane Legion in the live said, Azrael. I mean, I've talked about Azrael before because, you know, in the Nightfall series, Paul or Azrael is the one that Bruce goes to replace him as Batman while he's recovering from the backbreaking that he took from Bane. And then eventually Paul goes mad and Bruce has to come back and take down Paul. But then later Paul gets redeemed a little bit and joins the Bat family as his other moniker, Azrael. That could be a really interesting one too. So again, I think there's a couple of interesting things here. It's just the fact that Matt Reeves is saying, I'm going to use a totally different one. Because I know some people, while excited for the Batman 2, they haven't really wanted them to go back to Joker again yet. Although I'd be fine if they did. Because every time we get an iteration of Joker, it's pretty interesting. And then those are some names that I think I'd like to see maybe be the villain. Rob, what do you think about Matt Reeves coming out right now and just saying straight up, hey, our villain in this film ain't going to be one you've seen in a movie so far yet. And who do you think that leaves us as some viable contenders to be the villain in the Batman 2?
Well, I think he immediately gets rid of all that needless fanboy speculation that the internet would explode with who's going to be the villain. And he's going to say you haven't seen the villain before. And if you think about the tone of the first Batman, like the tone of Penguin, it felt like you were watching a real world crime thriller that the character of Batman is in. You know, that's what I really liked about it. People talked about the Batman feeling more like Seven than it felt like a Batman movie. And I love that, which means to me, the villain's got to be grounded. And I love the idea that an Azrael, the thing is, Azrael could be like the anti-Batman. You know, like he could come in and they're immediately at odds because of their approach to, say, crime fighting. But I also like the idea, like the Court of Owls is a great idea because it's corruption and it's deep. It metaphorically is the deep-rooted corruption of the system that Batman is fighting against. So you could also have both. Azrael could be an agent of the Court of Owls. So I like those two things. Or
because don't they call Azrael at one point in the comics Azrael, Agent of the Bat?
Yeah,
I believe that kind of becomes his little moniker, Azrael, Agent of the Bat. So that would be kind of interesting if they twisted that with the Court of Owls.
And I think that's those. I mean, other than that, it's hard to come up with a Batman villain that has gravitas because the further you get out into his rogues gallery, you know, like KG Beast and stuff like that, that doesn't really fit in with what Matt Reeves is doing.
Now, I've got a name to throw out to you here. First of all, let's read the exact quote, and because I need to read this quote to you before I give you the one name, okay? So the quote specifically, the Cloverfield director explained that the sequel's new angle was crucial consideration when selecting the villain. He teased that the antagonist for the Batman Part 2 has, quote unquote, never really been done in a movie before. Never really been done in a movie before. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you Deathstroke. Now, you can say, wait a minute, we saw Deathstroke in a movie. Joe Manganiello popped up there at the end. Yeah, but he just popped up for a second.
He got on a boat.
He wasn't really used. Yeah. And again, The exact wording of it is Batman 2 has never really been done in a movie before. Now, maybe that's just semantics. Maybe what Matt Reeves was intending to say was specifically never been done. And he just goes, it's never really been done. Or by saying it's a villain that's never really been done in a movie before, maybe it's a character like Deathstroke who they never really did use him. He just popped up in a cameo really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And because who doesn't salivate at the idea of a Batman facing a Deathstroke in live action? So, I do. That could be an option. That could be an option.
Yeah. And plus, look, if there's already an existing script, obviously that we've heard that there was a finished script for Ben Affleck's Batman. If studios have already spent money, it's common practice that they go into things that have already been developed or they spent money on, and then they redo them. They repurpose them. If you think about Die Hard, Die Hard's 2 and 3, like Die Hard 2, Die Harder, and then Die Hard with a Vengeance, both of those movies were based on previously existing screenplays that had nothing to do with the Die Hard franchise. Die Hard 2 is called 58 Minutes, and Die Hard 3 was a script called Simon Says. So they have a Batman script that was supposed to be pretty good that Matt Reeves could have taken and adapted. Then Chris Terrio, I guess Ben Affleck might get writing credits on, I don't know. But they could have done that. So it's very possible that Deathstroke is the villain in this film. And I would be so there for that, dude. So there for that. Especially if he was a little older, a little bit more seasoned, because I like the idea of him a younger, he could, and by the way, a Deathstroke could be also keyed into the Court of Owls.
Yeah, I mean, you could tie that all in. You could tie it all in. Maybe setting up Court of Owls really more for a bigger presence in a third Batman film. So maybe like they're still that force that's behind the shadows, kind of maybe pulling some strings, whether that's with a Hush or, a Hugo Strange or an Azrael or a Deathstroke or whoever. And then that kind of then sets you up for a much bigger kind of narrative in Batman 3. But whatever. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? With Matt Reeves saying that the villain for Batman 3 has never really been done in a movie before. Do you think that's a good move to not go with one of the more tried and true villains at this point? And if what he's saying is true, which we have no reason not to believe that he's saying is true, who do you think that leaves as viable options for a villain for the next film? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that all down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we've got two things we have to do. First, we've got to bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer, Miami Vice fan, Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, sir. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. I will, by the way, safe travels and say hello to all the fans. Well, you'll see them tomorrow night.
I'll see them tomorrow night in San Francisco. It's good to have you, Matt. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And, of course, the other thing we need to do here is thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at PrizePicks. Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Look, you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right actually means you win. And with football back, there is no better time to get in on the action. You guys know I've been using PrizePicks for a while now, and it's honestly the most fun I've had engaging with the new football season already. For example, this weekend, I had Josh Allen throwing for more than 270 passing yards and Baker Mayfield having more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and boom, I won on both. Building your lineups on PrizePicks is fast, simple, and honestly extremely fun. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and if you're right, you win. What's even better is that PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still win even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Plus, they've even got this thing called injury reboots, so if a player goes down in the first half, it won't count against you. And PrizePicks operates in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the app today and use code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. And thank you to our friends at PrizePicks for sponsoring the John Campea Show. All right, guys, let's get on the important stuff. Your topics and questions. Jonathan, what do we got up first?
Henry Steele is first and says, "Hey, John, if Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse sticks the landing, do you think that it will be in the conversation, if not the only best comic book trilogies, but also the best movie trilogies of all time? Thanks. Can't wait to meet you in Portland."
100%. 100% it's in the conversation. Now, the first part is key. If it sticks the landing. The level, the bar has been set so unbelievably high by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's an unbelievably high bar. They have a huge thing to live up to. But if, and that is a big if they nail that landing, I'm not saying it surpasses the original Star Wars trilogy. I'm not saying it surpasses the Lord of the Rings. What I am saying, because the way you worded it, does it get in the conversation? 100%. You know what? I'll go so far as to say this. If it actually completely nails the landing and is on the same level, and again, it may not be, but if it's on the same level as Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, I will personally proclaim it as the best superhero trilogy of all time. Because as great as Batman Begins and The Dark Knight was, The Dark Knight Returns was not so great. The Captain America trilogy with Chris Evans is insanely great, but if Beyond the Spider-Verse is on the same level as the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, that's just a higher consistency. So again, let's wait and see what happens when Across the Spider-Verse comes out, because it's had a lot of drama, or Beyond the Spider-Verse, it's had a lot of drama just trying to get to the screen. But yeah, if it does that, yeah, 100% it's in the conversation. All right, what's next?
Dak Chat says, "I just watched Strange New World season 2 finale, and I'm still shocked at the shuttle landing scene. I actually felt tense watching it on my phone. Wow, I hope Rob isn't filling in for this one."
I am 2 episodes behind on Strange New Worlds, so I've got to get caught up. I mean, God, I got to get caught up on a couple things. I haven't even started watching the new season of Foundation yet, and I got to watch 3 episodes of Gen V tonight. Once I get to where I'm staying overnight, I got to hunker down, watch that. So I'm a little bit behind in a few things. All I know, I have loved this episode or this season of Strange New Worlds. I've loved this show. I think the show has been spectacular. I'll say it again. I think it is the best Star Trek series since Next Generation. I think Next Generation is the best Star Trek series ever, but I don't think anything's been better that's come out after that than Strange New Worlds. I really love it. All right, what's next?
We got Rock Soldier. "I saw The Long Walk last night, thought it was great, but the whole time I kept thinking how much David Johnson reminded me of Chadwick Boseman and what a great T'Challa he'd make."
Yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, he's clearly evolving as we are seeing the emerging of a new great actor in our business. He's fabulous in The Long Walk. Like, I really like that movie, man. I think that is a beautiful movie. We knew it wasn't going to make a lot of money, which sucks because this movie is great. I just don't want to hear from people anymore like complaining about the quality of cinema we have, because we have like excellent cinema like The Long Walk, and people just simply aren't going to see it, which is ridiculous. It's so good. It's so for as violent as it is truly a beautiful film and an uplifting film in the midst of all the horror that's going on in it. I just think it deserved better, and his performance was absolutely one of the things that elevated it. All right, what's next?
Raymond. "Yeah, have a safe drive up from LA. It's a long drive, so I hope you give yourself enough time. Traffic on a Friday in the Bay Area too. It's going to be warm here in the weekend, but you're actually not in LA right now. You're on the road, obviously. So you already got a
I'm
head
already
start.
several hours north of LA on my
Yeah.
way to San Francisco. Yeah.
Says, see you. So Raymond will see you tomorrow evening, and then you almost sold out the 7:15 Psycho screening.
Guys, I could not believe it. I'm going to see if I can find it here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, but let me see if I can. So I looked up. They have several screenings for Psycho, and we picked the 7:15 one.
Mm-hmm.
And the 7:15 one is the one we got. So it's got a couple surrounding it, right? And oh my goodness, oh yeah, there's the one. Okay. So I'm going to bring this onto the screen. Give me a second here. I'm going to bring this onto the screen here. Here we go. Okay, so first of all, here's the 410 screening. It sold 6 tickets. Here's the 1010 screening. It has sold 2 tickets.
Nice.
Here, and that's what the 715 looked like before we announced the movie meetup. Here's our 715 screening.
Well, still room for a few more.
There are even people buying tickets in the front section. So, yeah, I think this might be the biggest movie meetup we've done yet. I think the previous biggest one might have been Denver, or maybe Salt Lake City, or maybe Vegas. Anyway, but I think this is going to end up being the biggest one. So again, if you are in the San Francisco area and you want to come out and meet up with and watch a movie with us all tomorrow night, there are still a smattering of tickets in there. So go ahead, go onto the Regal website, and it's at the Regal Hacienda Crossing, and we hope to see you at the 715 of Psycho. All right, what's next?
Okay, Dylan says, I finally read The Martian last year, and I came away from that book thinking I never would have cast Matt Damon in that role. I'm glad I wasn't running the casting. Damon was perfect. Just goes to show how much we all, I think he means all can be wrong when it comes to that. Yeah, but Pattinson's going to be Crockett. I'm right about that.
But I'm right about that. You know, here's the thing too. It's like when we read a book, we form an image in our own heads that might be very different from the image of the person next to us reading the book. And it might also be very different from the image in the head of the author. Or ultimately, the person who's going to make the movie version, their image could be totally different. Listen, I agree with you. I thought Matt Damon was an odd choice, but oh my God, he was so perfect for it. Like, he kills it in that movie. That movie, I think it's Ray's all-time favorite movie. As a matter of fact, I think Ray, that's his number one favorite movie of all time. Mm-hmm. I know Anne loves it too. It is just shocking how good it is. Like, if you had told me it's a movie about a guy who gets stranded on Mars and he has to grow potatoes so he doesn't starve to death. Okay, well, that doesn't sound all that interesting. Yet they make it incredibly interesting and riveting and fun. It's so good. And my God, guys, same writer, what's his name again? Andy Weir? Is that his name? Then wrote Project Hail Mary, which is coming out next year with Ryan Gosling. This movie's going to be phenomenal, guys. Oh my God. I think Project Hail Mary is better than The Martian, the book. And I think the movie's going to be better too. And I love The Martian, so can't wait for it to come out.
All right.
What's next?
Oh, and then Dylan follows up. It says, on a very related note, I think Ryan Gosling was an absolute perfect choice to play Grace in Project Hail Mary.
You know, it's funny when Ann and I went on the most recent stretch of the movie meetups, when we did the 4 cities in 4 nights thing for Albuquerque, Denver, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas. We listened to Project Hail Mary. Ann hadn't heard it before. And she's like, we go 1 chapter into the book and she goes, all I can see is Ryan Gosling in my head. Like this, I think you're right. I think this was, like, I thought he was good anyway, but I didn't read the book until after I saw that he was cast in it. And it's like, yeah, he's perfect for it. I can't wait to see him in this. Now, how are they going to do Rocky? That's going to be the trick. What is Rocky going to look like? I'm pretty curious about that. All right, what's next?
Kevin G, no question. Just want to send a few bucks your way that would have otherwise gone to the Disney Corporation for the streaming services that I canceled this morning. Have a nice day.
Oh, thank you so much, man. It's very kind of you to support us. And yeah, churn is a real thing, man. And you know what? It's becoming something I'm starting to consider doing. I'm starting to consider churning myself. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thank you for the support, man. I appreciate that.
Albie says, not sure if true, but I read online that K-pop Demon Hunters is eligible for Oscars. If so, do you give it chances for a nomination or even a win for Best Original Song for Golden? Did it run 2 weeks?
In the theaters? Yeah. No, remember, it doesn't need to run 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
It only needs to really run for a couple of days.
I see.
And it got theatrical. It got a theatrical release. And you know what? you don't even have to do a wide release like what they did with it.
Yeah.
All you need to do is put it in 1 or 2 screens in New York and Los Angeles, and boom, you qualify. Now they're thinking about expanding those rules to make it so you have to have a little bit more of a theatrical presence, but that doesn't really matter because they did their sing-along thing in it, right? So it's totally eligible. I have a hard time imagining that Golden isn't going to win the Oscar for Best Original Song. Now, that being said, there's a little film called Wicked for Good coming out. And you know that's going to have some contenders in it because they're also writing 2 original songs that weren't in the stage play for this. So, yeah, all the things being equal right now, like if the Oscars were tomorrow, I'd say Golden wins. But like I said, there are more movies coming, particularly Wicked, so we'll have to see. But yeah, it's eligible, and Golden will. You know what? They could have 2 songs nominated. K-pop Demon Hunter, very legitimate because Golden could be nominated, and This Is What It Sounds Like could also very legitimately both be nominated. So I think you're going to see it get nominations, but whether it wins, let's see Wicked for Good first before we declare that. All right, what's next?
Prabal says, hey, John, you did this. Went to the Infinity Saga concert at the San Francisco Symphony. I've avoided rewatching any Avengers movie since Endgame. Waiting for re-release in theaters. Hearing Silvestri's score after 5 years. When the theme hit, chills. One hell of a score. Amazing time.
We got to go to the very first Infinity Saga concert. The very first one they did was last year in Hollywood at the Hollywood Bowl. Kevin Feige was there. And it was the first time that the world heard the theme to Fantastic Four as Michael Giacchino came out and introduced the theme song to the world, and the orchestra played it, and it was amazing. Guys, listen, I love movies in concert. I love those events. That Infinity Saga thing was the best I've ever seen. If you get the chance, because it's only being done in a few cities, if you get a chance to go to this Infinity Saga in concert thing, go. It's absolutely phenomenal. I had a great time at it, and I'm glad you had a chance to see it too, man. All right, what's next?
David from Bag End. Best actor, Meryl Streep or Daniel Day-Lewis. You're all amazing. Bring on the filthy.
Well, you're talking about the king and the queen.
Right.
Right. Like she is, I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't think you know anything about anything if you don't acknowledge that the Street Monster is the greatest actress to ever live. She is. Daniel Day-Lewis, though, I think is the GOAT. He is the best. He's the Bret the Hitman Hart of acting. He's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. I don't think the world has ever seen an actor on his level. I don't think the world will ever see an actor on his level. He's just in a different game. Like, it's not just that he's the best in the sport. Nobody else can even play the game. It's him. So yeah, I think Meryl Streep is clearly the queen of all acting, but I think the greatest of all time, the greatest performer of all time is Daniel Day-Lewis. So I'll say Daniel Day-Lewis. All right, what's next?
Okay, here's our last of the tips. Kanal says, hi, Mr. Campea. I'm so glad that you've been enjoying your time traveling. One question I have for you is, are you planning on coming by Maine? I pre-ordered the Superman Steelbook, and it arrived 5 days early. So excited to see it on OLED TV.
I don't know about Maine, so I can tell you this. We are heading to Buffalo in October. That's our end point.
Yeah, and that's not that bad of a drive from Maine.
We are just at the beginning stages now. We know where we're starting at home. We know what the end point is, Buffalo. And now we're just at the beginning stages of putting together the stops along the way, like which cities we're going to hit along the way. Now, it won't be Texas. It won't be Florida. We're going to do that eastern strip, like straight from Southern California, straight across to Florida. We're going to do that in November. But in October, we are going to do the California to Buffalo. And so which states we stop in, which cities we stop in, we'll see. Like I haven't gotten around to really putting all those together yet, but I mean, maybe Maine. I just don't know yet. I just don't know. All right, was that it for the tip questions?
That's it for the tips.
Well, you know what, guys? We're going to cut it a little bit short then today. I still have a lot of driving to do today. So I'm going to go get back behind the wheel and get driving out of here. Keep heading up towards San Francisco. But guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Also, big thank yous to Robert Meyer Burnett for being here. Our technical director, Jonathan Voico. Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, see you guys soon.
Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. That'll do it for us for now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.